If you think for 1 second that the Capitol will ever treat us fairly, you are lying to yourself. Because we know who they are and what they do. This is what they do, and we must fight back.
Hi there, and welcome to the start of another project. In this project, we'll be working on a Hunger Games project where we do Katniss Everdeen, as you saw in the opening video. Now, I'm very excited to do this project because it has new elements that we haven't really touched on, such as cycles and loops. So in this project, we'll go into some of those details, as well as creating the fire parts. And yeah, it's very exciting. I hope that you'll stick around to catch all the videos. So starting with this video, we did Katniss Everdeen. Now this was a simple view of Katniss Everdeen. It was I'd say it's a close-up, or is it a medium close-up? I don't know, but it's a close-up. It took about, I'd say, an hour to do each of this video, so it wasn't too complicated, but it was an exciting project to say the least. So here, as you can see, I'm just working on a strap and just saving the project, and here you can see I'm just creating the body. Now what I did struggle was while tracing this picture was that it was very difficult to see the picture of Katniss, because she's wearing dark clothing and it's also in a very dark setting, so it was a bit difficult for me to pick up some of the lines. So I didn't worry too much about the details on her clothes. I just more or less tried to find the outlines of the things that I could see. And then here, as you can see, I'm going to a head. So this character of Katniss didn't have a lot of layers. It was just mostly the head and body. And I think it is one of those few pictures where I struggle to see the final picture as I'm doing it. Now I chose this picture in particular because I think it was a bit more expressive, and it was also one that I could almost do without having to draw too many, almost like those wrinkles that make up that intensity of anger that she has on her face. So here I'm working on the hair. Now I worked on the hair in a separate layer because it's gonna be cycled, or in other words, it's gonna be looped in terms of the movements, and you're gonna see that towards the end of the video. So it was much better to create it in another layer, and it works great for when it's time to loop. So you can see here I'm just creating also the different parts. So there's hair that's in the front, which the layer was, and then the hair that's at the back, that's where I put it. So here, I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't see Katniss as I animated this. I was like, I don't see it happening. So it was a bit strange, but we got it done, and I was happy with the results. So here you can see I'm just working with the hair, making sure it looks like her, and then here we're working with the eyes. Now I had originally intended to make the eyes more expressive, like for them to move around, but then because of the cycle or the loop that we'll create, it became a bit difficult to do that. And then the other thing that I struggled as well with this project, it was almost trying to give her that angry look, because I think my one it doesn't look as intense as the original picture that it was traced from. But I think that with the help of the voiceover that was overlaid, it does help a lot. So here you can see I'm creating the eyes, just making sure they look right. So I did eventually come back later to fix these eyes rather. And unfortunately, I think this project is one of those projects where it's one of those projects where I recorded everything, but then after a while I came back to it and I was like, no, I don't like this. So especially here right now I'm doing the colors, so I'm working with the skin color, but I wasn't too pleased with it. You'll note she looks a bit red with the final results. So eventually I did come back and I did fix some things. Unfortunately I didn't record, but it wasn't too many things. It was just the skin color as well as the eyes. So here I'm working with the hair, coloring everything. As you can see, it was a very first project, I think, in terms of doing everything, and I think that's because it's such a close-up. So if you enjoy what you're watching, please subscribe, check out the other videos. The channel has been growing, so we have a number of projects now. So yeah, please subscribe and check out the other videos. So here you can see she's almost done, but I wasn't very pleased with what she looked like. And then I went around playing with this skin color. Here I'm just finishing off the eyes, but you'll note that I go back and try different skin colors. So that's an image that I found on the internet that just shows flat colors. So here I was trying to play around with them, trying to see which one worked, but unfortunately I couldn't really find the right one that worked. And I think only after coming back later to finish off this project, that's when I found the one that I was pretty happy with. Even though the final project, you know, it makes it look red, but I think it was part of the fact, and I was happy with that. So the next thing, after doing everything, what we're going to do is create cycles. And I keep talking about them because I was pretty excited to do them, because so far we haven't done any. Even with the Darth Vader one, we had done the cycles or the loop for his cloth moving around, but that was taken from an existing project, so it was really exciting to do something here. So right now I've come to that part where I'm adding that little flair that defines my art style, which is just making some of the line work thicker than others. So you can see here, just creating those thicknesses, and then you can see she's coming alive, and then you can just see there. And then what I did with the lips was that I just imported an existing, I can't recall if I had created or just imported, but I'm pretty sure that I'd imported an existing layer. So here what I'm doing is something that I haven't done before, which is adding a third base color. So usually I just use dark and the base color. So here I used a lighter shade, the base color, as well as the dark. So here just adding off the final details, and then we should jump into the cycles of these work. So here I'm just creating the lips, and then it was also very difficult to find lips, I think, in terms of the lip colors that worked with the skin tone that I'd used. So again, it was a lot of playing around with it. Here she looked like, I think, as if she got a sunburn or a suntan, is it? Like, well, she looked sunburnt. So you can see here, I created a color that I could reference as for her lips, and then I just removed that little light thing. And yeah, so here I think a lot of struggle came to the colors. I really struggled with those, but then eventually I had to reference another almost skin base colors, and I think that did work out well in the end. So here you can see I'm just making sure that all of the lips, changing all the colors. So it's a bit of tedious work, and that's why it's very important that you know the colors that you use, because if you do make a mistake, then imagine going back all the way, changing each and every layer. That can make you sick almost. So for me, unfortunately, I did end up making that mistake, and I did have to fix or recolor these lips, I think about 3 times if I'm not mistaken. But for what I've done right now, I'm happy with. So here we can go. So we're getting there. I didn't talk too much about the movie, but I enjoyed the Hunger Games. I think just the first 2, if I'm being honest, those are my favorite, and then the last 2 not so much. I don't know, I just didn't enjoy how it ended, I suppose, but I did enjoy the first 2. I think 2 more so than 1. So here we're done. So now we're creating the cycles. So cycles, or action, the software calls them actions. Actions are basically cycles that you can loop over and over again. So here you can see I'm just I'm creating a hair cycle, so that when it will appear as if the wind is blowing in her hair. So here you can see I'm just creating, and I try not to make it too complicated. So it's basically the hair moving up and down, and it's I think about 3 keyframes that I use to create this. And then you can see that's starting to come together. So I just make the hair move around, and I was actually excited to do this because it had been such a while since I had done cycles. So here we're doing the hair. As you can see, it's coming together. And here what I did was I just used an onion skin. So Anime Studio or Moho Studio does have onion skin if you'd like to use them, or if you were ever wondering. So that's what I did. I used I used onion skins to create that. So here I'm creating that other layer. So you see now why it works really well to have the layers that you're gonna key cycle to be separate. And then just adding there, you can see it's coming together. So this was, I'd say it was a very technical project, if I'm being honest, but it wasn't difficult as well. So even if you're seeing this, trust me, it is so much easier than it actually looks, creating the cycles. So you can see here, hair is also moving there. So that cycle is actually coming to life. So there I'm just moving, just creating more, working on it, just moving little things. So you can see, to me, that actually looks pretty decent, and I was happy with the results. Now, and then here it was just the head that also just does the cycles. So after you do this, you just basically cycle it to loop from the first keyframe. So if you do like maybe keyframes from 1 to 12, then on the 12th cycle you just want it to loop back to the first keyframe. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, you just loop it back to this cycle. So it just starts from 12, it goes back to 1, and you just want to make the transition seamless. Now here it wasn't perfect, but I think it did work for what I wanted to achieve. So now I'm coming to the close of this project, and then what I did was I used this old background from a project that I'd used a while back. I'd actually used it for Trigon, and yeah, you can see. So thank you so much, guys. Wow, what was that? So thank you so much for watching. I hope you can subscribe and check out the other projects. Leave a like, that's always encouraging to see that people are engaging with the content. And thank you so much for your time, and I hope you can check out the next video and then the next video after that. So yeah, thank you for watching.